Thank you very much for coming. This is the third one, I think, in the series of Life Before Barrydale. Not that I think there has been life before Barrydale. Once you come to Barrydale, this is where life begins.
Absolutely,
so it's a great pleasure to actually interview someone that's, I'm right out of my depth here. I know nothing about it. Very little, but my wife sort of been going, and I've been married to her for 43 years now, and yeah, she's a vegetarian and sort of the fairy stuff. But having said that, Terry is probably one of the most famous designers of labyrinths, is that right?
Yes, yeah, not, I won't say famous, but anyway, yeah.
Well, yes, once you've made it in the media,
yeah. I stumbled upon a labyrinth in 1997 when I went to study my yoga teacher's training in America. My son was 5, Yosha, he was with me, and yeah, he was very moody, and sugar blues and everything, and you study from 8 to 5, and then the restaurant only opens at 6. So from 5 to 6 I have to keep him busy, and it's on a farm way in the Gramadulas. So
now,
there's no... When?
Where was it?
It was near Woodstock in New York State.
Okay.
Yeah, on Omega Institute Holistic Studies. Yeah. Anyway, so that afternoon Yosha was specifically very moody and angry, hangry, everything. So every afternoon after 5 o'clock we sort of walk around, and then I took a different route, and I stumbled upon this very funny circular pattern, and I didn't know what it was. But there was an entrance, and Yosha started to walk into the entrance, and I started walking in behind, and he soon started to run, and his mood immediately shifted from moody, hangry to laughing, his normal self. So when we went to the restaurant, I asked, "What is this?" And they said, "Oh, it's a labyrinth." And I haven't even heard of the word before. I know of a maze, but not a labyrinth. Yeah. So that's how my journey with labyrinth started. Yeah.
Because it's amazing. I mean, we used to go to a place in Mpumalanga, Old Joe's Kaya, when we lived up that side.
Yes, I know her. Yeah.
Yeah. And they also sort of, and Paul and myself got along very well, and we went there as often as we could. And they built a labyrinth, and that was the first time I've actually walked in a labyrinth.
Yeah, for their son that passed. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just shortly before he passed, I gave him a grinder, because that was one of the things he needed for his, but he was very good with his hands. And I gave him a small grinder that I got as a present.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I still don't get it about the labyrinth though.
So one of the first labyrinths here in South Africa was built just outside Labyrinth at Lemoenshoek by Dr. Peter Vries.
That's right, yeah.
And then Liz Brom built the labyrinth that I now own at Kamala. She built that in the year 2000. Yeah. So Dr. Peter Fraser, he had a heart attack, and then he read about the book from Lauren Artis, Walking a Sacred Path. And from his bed, he ordered a bulldozer and everything to clean and clear the space, and he built that labyrinth, and it took him 9 months, and it took him 9 months to recover from the heart attack as well.
Yeah. My goodness. So, what are the magical powers in this labyrinth?
Okay, so a labyrinth is not a maze. A maze is...
that's right. I felt a little silly walking in this thing, because you can see the oak next to you.
Yeah, so a maze is designed to confuse you, so that you use your left brain, and you must think, do I go left, right or straight? A labyrinth is just one path. So it's one path that you walk, and it's circular, and it's got twists and turns, but you know that you will get to the center.
Yeah.
So I always call a labyrinth, it's a walk or a pilgrimage to your heart. It's a meditative walk. You automatically, your thoughts become less. You start to breathe deeper. Your body relax. So it's like a meditation, a walking meditation, and it helps you to release stress, to work through trauma, to work through grief. Yeah. So
But now, growing up, what was your dream? To do something like that?
No, not at all.
Right, now let's get to the nitty-gritty.
Okay, so I was born and bred in Stellenbosch, went to Bloemhof, went to varsity.
What did you study?
And that is quite interesting. I studied BSc Agriculture with Animal Husbandry and Genetics.
Come again?
So ever since I was little, I always said I'm going to marry a boer met a paard. It was after the horse, you know. Anyway, that never happened. So I studied agriculture, and then it's a 4-year degree. Then I didn't know what to do with that, so I went into journalism. I did honours in journalism, and then it was like I was a fish in water. I loved it. My grandfather was a journalist at Die Burger. Yeah,
okay.
so it's also sort of in my blood.
Yeah. And how long were you a journalist for? And what was your speciality, and what did you sort of, because journalists normally sort of go in a direction and that.
Because I studied agriculture, I started to work at Die Burger as well, and they put me on the agriculture beat. So I didn't enjoy that too much because it was much more exciting to be a normal news journalist. But yeah, so I worked from 86 till 94. End of 94, yeah. So in 94, I did the Stellenbosch office, yeah. And then, there was a huge, there was a huge murder. And that is like the journalist's dream. Front page every day, byline, everybody starts to know who's Terry the Vries. But it really didn't fit lekker with me. Yeah, so I resigned.
Jy sê as dit nie lekker gefit het nie. Wat was jou soort van, en dit is wat ek wil weet, as jy nou gedroom het jy wil 'n journalist word? Sure, jy moet seker crime wil doen of obituaries of wat ook al, wat was jou soort van punt wat jy sou wil bereik het as jy aangehou het met journalism? Jou groot skool.
I wouldn't have kept on. Before I enjoyed it while it lasted.
Yeah.
So I worked at Die Burger, and then I went up to Beeld, and then I worked for Flying Springbok, the SAA's in-house magazine. So that was fantastic. So I flew all over the world, and that's where my love for travel started as well. So that was fantastic. So yeah, and then I got divorced, got married, got a child, got divorced. Joshua was 9 months old, and I came back to Cape Town, and that actually, I asked myself questions, why are we here on this earth? Why are we living? Why? Is it just to study and work and get married and have children and die? What's the meaning of life? Yeah, so then my whole spiritual journey started.
Yeah, funny enough, that happened 10 years ago. I just woke up one morning and I thought, it's this life. And I've got so many years left, and if you divide that into weekends and holidays, not many left.
No, yeah.
And but then you just have, this is not for me anymore. But sorry, carry on. I went to study my yoga teacher's training in America in 1997. I first, for 2 years, I lectured at the Department of Journalism at Stellenbosch as well. And so my journey with labyrinth started, and I started to build wherever I go, I build a labyrinth, and wherever I travel overseas, I build a labyrinth overseas as well. So there's like lots of labyrinths all over the world. That's where I did a bit of homework. I normally don't do a lot of homework because I would like to share the same time as the audience of where do you come from and why and what for.
And that's actually how I ended up in Barrydale as well. So
that was my next
Carly, I don't think she's here. I think she's got a retreat on. She phoned me and asked me that I must come and help and build a labyrinth on her property. And so I came in February 2018. And it was like a whole weekend retreat building the labyrinth, and we went to Kamala's labyrinth as well to walk that. And that property was in the market. And she said, please, don't you want to move to Barrydale? Come and buy this. I said, you must be mad, this is much too big.
So labyrinth is actually quite a good business, isn't it?
I sold my house in Stellenbosch end of 2016. I'm backtracking a bit. In 2016, 2002 was the first Camino that I walked, and in 2016 I walked with a friend. Her husband passed in 2015, and we walked 2,000 kilometers from Frankfurt to Rome. So I walked out of my house and out of Stellenbosch. And then I didn't know where I'm going to. So I looked, it was wonderful, but anyway, I looked everywhere. Rebecca Steele, Betty's Pie, Stanford, Hemel en Aarde, nothing has that.
Houses.
Yes, this is it. Yeah. So I came here to Barrydale, and over the weekend she said, oh, but Atma's house is also in the market. And so the Sunday afternoon when we were done and I was driving home, I told her, just phone her and ask if I can come and have a look at the house, because who comes to Barrydale?
Exactly. I always say it. You don't get a transfer, you don't apply for a job. It's just you hear one day and you think, how did I get you?
How did I get you?
What? No.
Yeah. Anyway, so I walked through the door on the long stoep, and when I entered, I didn't even go into the house. I just knew, okay, so this is my next house, this is my next town, this is where I need to be. Yeah.
And that's where you stay.
Yeah. And I'm not an incomer, soos hulle sê. I came back to my roots. My dad was born here in Barrydale and he matriculated here at the school as well. Yeah.
So you were familiar with Barrydale?
We never came to visit Barrydale.
Really?
Because his parents sold the farm.
Yeah.
And they never returned. Yeah. So we never even drove through. Yeah. So it was weird.
Amazing to think of it just by chance. So how did you how did you just...
So then I bought Atma's house.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I just told Michelle this afternoon, I realized, and now I'm going to talk about something stuff. I actually, in 2004, Spirit already told me I must come to Barrydale.
Yeah.
I invited a guy from Germany, Ian, I forgot his surname. He built horse labyrinths, and he taught me how to build horse labyrinths, and he came to South Africa in 2004, and I told him, because ever since I've been to Omega Institute, where I studied my yoga teachers in America, I wanted a retreat. I want to run a retreat, I want a retreat. So anyway, so I told him, I need to look for a place where I can have my retreat. He said, okay, I will dowse for you. So he took out a map of Western Cape and he took his pendulum, and then I mentioned, okay, Hemel en Aarde, no. Stanford, no. I mean, and I went there looking for houses as well. Né? Betty's Bay, no. West Coast, no. Stilbaai, no. George, Knysna, Wilderness, no. Because I wanted to be close to the ocean. He said, why don't you go inland? I said, huh?
Exactly.
And he dowsed, and it came to Barrydale. So in 2004,
so there is some...
I believe you end up in the place where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
And I also believe Barrydale calls you. No, or chooses you. You don't choose Barrydale. No?
Because it's not easy living here. It's quite tough, to be honest. And it used to be a lot tougher.
Yeah.
But it's not for everyone.
It's not for
anything
everyone.
like we imagined it.
No. Yeah, I believe this is a very special valley. You hike a lot. No? You see the white quartz in the mountains. There's white quartz in that Langeberg Mountains, there's white quartz here in the Barrenwaterberg, this little koppie here. I've picked up crystals here as well.
Yeah.
No? So the crystals and the quartz, they all hold a certain energy, no? Or a frequency. And I think that's the frequency that people feel when they come here, when they just don't drive through the R62, but when they come into town as well.
Now frequencies.
Yeah.
It's like that. I'd love to know. So have we all got different frequencies, or how does this work?
Okay, so we are human. And being human, we have a body. And our body's miraculous thing. I mean, you eat food and you get all the nutrients and everything, and you stay alive, and you breathe with oxygen and you stay alive. But your thoughts, whatever you think, also has an energy and a frequency, and that influences how the health of your body. So if you keep on thinking fearful thoughts, you will go into anxiety, you will get stressed, and that will influence your body. You will get ill or disease or whatever and so on. But if you think joyful thoughts or loving thoughts and kind thoughts, that will raise the frequency of your body, and people can feel it when they walk past the street. You know, they can feel if you have a lekker vibe. Yeah.
Jerry, this is the first time that woo-hoo stuff has got me almost convinced, because I think that's the Barrydale frequency. Exactly what you were saying about you would get anxiety. I'm a different person since I've moved to Barrydale. I'm still on tranquilizers, but a lot less.
A lot, yeah.
As the people in the pub saw earlier on, we were doing sound check, and you go, bang! So I jumped that high, and I know the second was coming, and I still jumped that high. But I'm a lot calmer, and that I could buy into that frequency. That is, if you have happy thoughts, all that. Now I hardly ever can think of an evil thought, where,
Yeah.
So I quite buy into that one, but now.
So yeah, frequency. Singing bowls. So this is a Tibetan singing bowl. Back 2011, I went on my first vision quest. So I don't know if you know what the vision quest is. It's a traditional Native American practice where you go into the wilderness without food, sometimes without water as well, but we had water for at least 4 days. And then the 4th night, when you arrive on the 4th day, you're completely on your own, and you build a circle for yourself, and then you ascertain where east, west, south, north is. And then on the 4th night, when the sun sets and the shadow touches the west stone, you step into the circle. And then that whole night you hold awake for yourself, because you die to your old self and you give birth to your new self. So people do it when they at the crossroads, they don't know what to do. They do it when they at the milestone, say I did it 2011, 2012 I turned 50. So I did it as preparation for my 50th. And then the next morning, so you pray, you sing, you look at the stars. I think I saw something like 50 shooting stars that night. And you get visions, because I mean you haven't eaten for 4 days now, only water. So the veil between this world and the spiritual world is very thin then. I had amazing dreams as well when I fell asleep. And then the next morning when the sun rises and the sunlight touches the east stone, you step out of the circle. And we had to give ourselves a name. So the name that came up for me was Singing Bowl. And I didn't even know what a singing bowl was. I've heard of a singing bowl, but I didn't have a singing bowl.
Of course you would.
I've once heard somebody tinkle a singing bowl. Anyway, so that was my name. So that kept, when you do stuff, it comes, dit broei in your agterkop.
Yeah.
So in 2019, I was already living in Barrydale. I went to India and I did a course in how to do sound healing. So this bowl comes from India.
Sure.
So the bowls are from different metals, copper and I don't know, anyway, lots of different metals, yeah.
Not going to make one.
And it's a bit dirty.
Yeah. It is not.
No, I just want to show the pattern. So this is handmade, and all the patterns inside is also hand chiseled. Yeah, so that is the flower of life pattern.
Yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah. And this is tuned to C. So the body, we have this physical body, but we also have an energetic body. Our heart is magnetic, our brain is electrical. But the heart that's magnetic, it makes energetically a toroidal field. Mm-hmm. And we have certain energy, chakra, energy points as well. So, and the chakra energy points works with the octave of the piano, of sound. No? So the root chakra is C, C, D, E, heart is F, G, A, B. So it's got different notes. It works on the musical scale as well. Anyway, so this is C.
You're looking for a gig.
And I don't know if you would hear because there's lots of noise, but anyway.
Yeah. I can hear it all right.
So how this works, this, okay, it brings the frequency of C, the energy of C, and the sound travels with a sound wave, and then it moves through your body. And then if you lie on the floor, or that if you really do a sound healing session, and you put the bowls on top of the person, then you would be able to feel the frequency in your body as well. But if it's like in a group situation and you just gonger, so the sound moves, and then it moves through your body and through the muscles and the cells, and wherever there is like an obstacle or a pain or a little disease or something, it will help to break that up as well. It will dissolve in the frequency. So people do come to sound therapies. Okay, it's to relax. It helps you to let go of stress. It helps you to let go of depression. But if, for instance, you have pain or an illness, it can help the body to self-heal. It's not the sound, you know, and it's not me.
It's very interesting.
No? So the body is miraculous. I mean, it can heal itself. It forms the skin in you know, it makes new skin. Your liver every 7 years is a new liver. Yeah. No? So so with the sound, it helps the body to heal where it needs to be healed. Yeah.
So would you now have the entire C, F, and G, and you do all of them?
I've got 4 sets.
I saw the other. Well, you won't believe it. I thought breathing is a natural thing, and now with this Bright Haven, to calm people or calm kids, I had to go and learn how to breathe. I thought I had that one sort of under control.
And with breath you can also calm your heartbeat and calm yourself.
Yeah, I'm a great believer in the Wim Hof.
Oh yes, yeah, I love
Yeah,
golf. Yeah,
that's my
I
good.
love cold water swimming, and I see lots of my friends here that swim with me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you can call it me swimming. It looks more like I'm having a fit, but I do it right through winter. I go. It's like you'll fail yourself if you don't go up that hill and jump in that ice cold water while there's frost on the grass. I mean, it's just. You told me you're going to do that 10 years ago. I mean, we had a heated pool. Only time I got into pools when it was like 30 degrees. So now I'm winter, and it's certainly there. Maybe it's because you get out and you don't know whether you're coming or going. But I
It's
buy
very
into
good
the
for the
cold
body.
treatment.
Yeah, it's also very healing for the body.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to try the bell sometime because I was in the studio on Friday learning how to breathe. And
you saw all the bowls.
I saw the bowls and then I saw that bed.
Yeah, the motorboard bed. Yeah.
So what does that bed do?
So the bed, it's a wooden. It looks like a table, but and wood that the person then lies on, and underneath there's strings, music. It's piano strings.
You can tune them.
Yeah, and you tune them, and you all tune them to C sharp.
Yeah.
And that works with the frequency of 432 hertz, which is the healing frequency. And then when the person lies on top and you play the music, the vibrations come through, and yeah.
And
people have amazing. I sometimes sing along, yeah. So people have amazing experiences, yeah.
And that's all natural.
It's all natural.
Washko or anything like that.
No plant medicine.
Not even a little.
No.
You can't make an exception. Oh, Terry, it's been really fascinating, I must be honest. And when I asked you if you would do it, and Terry was supposed to stand in for someone that couldn't do it last week, and we're still trying to get the previous owner of the hotel to come for a chat, because I believe that would be something very interesting. And that was certainly life before Barrydale, before we landed here. We just caught the tail end. But yeah, it's been absolutely fascinating, and thank you ever so much for
it's a big pleasure.
I really appreciate it. Now, I'm sure, I don't know how many people do believe in this kind of thing, but if you weren't a believer, then you must now start asking questions like myself. I sort of have to ask myself, was it real? Or because certainly
you must definitely come for a session.
Yeah, we did that. I didn't want to say as much, but it's almost like, if you tune your guitar, and you find that sweet spot, and it resonates forever. Yeah. That's what I found. I was sitting and I was thinking, now when is it going to fade? And I could feel it. But anyhow, thank you ever so much. And
any questions, maybe?
Yeah, is there any questions? That yeah.
What is a horse labyrinth?
Oh, okay. So a labyrinth is normally from 5 meters in diameter to the biggest one that I've built is 36 meters in diameter, but that one I specifically built so that the owner can walk with his horses in the labyrinth. But a horse labyrinth is normally not the one that humans walk. It's you just make the path and the horse walks on the line. So you make like the mirror image of classical 7-circuit labyrinth. And in 2003, I went to America. My younger sister stays in America, and the Labyrinth Society, every year they have a conference. So I went to the conference as well. I did a talk on South African labyrinths. So
it was a Karoo one.
Yeah, definitely the Lemonsoek one. I took pictures and everything. And then I studied with this Ian guy, and he showed us. So it was a mother and a daughter, and the daughter was walking on the pony, and the mum had a rescue horse, but we didn't know that. So the mum started with the big horse and started to lead, and how the labyrinth works, it also works that you walk through your chakras. So you walk in and you come into your solar plexus. So the solar plexus for us, all the experiences that we had from age 14 to 21. So that's when you start to individuate from your parents, when you start to study, you might finish school and you study, after school. And then some stuff happens, and if the trauma happens, it will sit in the chakra. So this horse walked, and when he turned into the third line, which was the solar plexus, he aan 'n 4 voet, wat sê mense, hoe rond, hy het die perd vasgesteek. He just stopped. And the horse didn't want to walk any further. So the little girl with her pony sort of passed the mom and started to lead the path, and we walked all the way to the center. And I did a lot of horse riding at school and at varsity, so I could see that the horse was very fearful. The ore was so plat, en die neusgate was so groot, en die perd was regtig nie happy nie. Anyway, and in the middle, the horse did, I don't know if you know TRE exercises, trauma release exercises. Animals do that automatically when, say for instance, they've been chased by a lion, and then the little buck will go, and then walk on. So it works on the same, that for a human, for trauma, to release trauma, you do certain exercises, and then your whole body starts to shake, and it shakes the trauma out. So in the middle of that labyrinth, while they were in the center, the big horse went like, and then he walked out, and he was fine. So he asked the woman, what happened to your horse? What's the history? And she said he was abused as a child, as a young gelding, whatever you call it. So the horse was abused and he was beaten. So that trauma must have come back to the horse. So horses and animals can feel energy and sense energy much more easier than us humans. We have too many thoughts, too many stuff, whatever going on. We really need to go into a meditation to be able to clear and still our mind so that you can feel. Some people are very sensitive and they can feel as well, but if you really want to feel, then you've got to clear your mind and become quiet. So horses can and animals can feel the energy and feel the stuff much more easier. So obviously the trauma came up for the horse, and it was a wonderful experience to see how the horse could release it as well.
So it's a labyrinth built for horses?
Yeah, it's a labyrinth built for horses. Okay. Yeah.
And how many labyrinths have we got any answers? Oh, I saw a photograph of you.
Yes, I built one on a farm in Collinsdorp.
Yeah.
On a farm in De Rust, I don't know if it's there anymore. On a farm in Paul, there's now all horse labyrinths. And one in Magaliesburg area, or Pretoria.
So now, do people take their horses there for a walking?
Yeah, they either lead the horses or they ride the horse. Yeah. It's like then you also get the benefits.
Well, it's different. It's different. So, any more questions? Oh, yeah. Anne.
Thanks, Terry. You talked about doing several, or at least one, caminos. Can I ask you what you learned from doing one or more?
Wow, okay. So 2002 was my first Camino, and I walked, it was the year that I turned 40. And I walked from St. John, Pied de Port, all the way to Santiago. So it's the main Francesco Camino. It's just under 800 kilometers. Yeah. And up until then, although I did teach yoga as well, because I studied in 1997 and I started to teach yoga in 1998, and I did a lot of massages, and I went more into the holistic side of things. I was still very much the A-type personality. Ek hoor vir Millie sê ek is nog steeds. Anyway, so the first few days, I pushed myself. Oh my word, I pushed myself. I got so ill, I had to stop.
Oh, your body told you now.
Anyway, so what really happens when you walk, you don't know how far you're going to walk that day, because you don't know, maybe you get a cramp, maybe you get a blister, maybe something else happens. So you cannot plan. So you don't know where you're going to sleep the night. So you've got to let go. You've got to surrender and just enjoy the moment that it is. Yeah. And during that walk, my dad passed over as well. And it was so amazing. I actually had a dream. The day, normally when people walk the Camino, sometimes they choose a day for a friend, to walk for a friend, or to walk for a son, or for a partner, or whatever. So the day that I chose to walk for my dad was, we walked, he loved oak trees. We walked through an oak forest. There was, on the one sort of little hill, there was 2 oak trees standing next to each other, but just the oak trees and the rest is just grass. And I said, well, I've got to walk through the oak trees, because wherever 2 trees are planted together, it's like a doorway when you go through to something you don't know. Anyway, so when I go, I'm always inquisitive. So when I got there, the whole tree was full of Buddhist prayer flags. So I thought, oh my word, this is very special. And the evening when we came to the one place that we thought we were going to sleep, it was that the refugio was full, so we walked to the next town, and we slept in a church wall across the church, and the church had yellow roses, and my dad loved yellow roses, so it was like amazing. And that night I dreamt of the home that I grew up in, and there was a yellow rose bush inside the house, and it grew through the roof. So I knew his time is near. Yeah. So it was, it's amazing the messages that you.
I think if your mind's looking for it, you'll find it.
Yeah.
If your mind's not looking for it, you're not going to see it. You've got to have what you would say, that frequency. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind if I had, but I also wouldn't mind. I have a lot of other things if I could have. But it must be actually fantastic to be, believe so much in it that it actually does have results. I know Karen used to take a lot of homeopathic medicines, and these little white pills, I always used to take them because they were quite nice. So you could never deal on them. We had like a bathroom cover full of these little white things. And I always think it's hogwash, but it worked for her. But it certainly didn't work for me, because I just take 2 or 3 and put them under my tongue. So yeah, I'm a bit of a non-believer, but a lot of things you've explained in a language that I understand.
Yeah, so homeopathy works also with frequency. So it's the frequency of whatever it is that you want to heal, they give you that. So, but very diluted, and then it helps you. Yeah, and I mean here, Yvette here, she makes fabulous distilled oils from the medicinal herbs, and it's wonderful medicine. Yeah. Coming from the plants, from here, from the Karoo, from our soil in Barrydale. Yeah.
And this is a special time.
Yeah,
Where
very
would you
special.
find a place like this anywhere in South Africa, let alone the world?
Yeah.
But yeah, any more questions?
How many labyrinths have you built?
Oh, I've stopped counting. Yeah, so in the beginning I kept track, took a picture and a note and anyway, so that laptop crashed and I never had a hard drive or a backup. Yeah. So it's more than 350.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I call you an expert. Anyone wants a labyrinth? There we go. She'll be at the market. Get you a good rate there. Any more?
Tini, maybe I'd like to ask, what treatments do you offer at your place?
At Kamala, yeah. So those of you that don't know, I have Kamala Karoo Sanctuary. Yeah, I must tell you how I got that place as well. So, sorry, I'm backtracking here.
Yeah, that's lovely. Let's go.
So February 2018 was the first time that we walked that labyrinth, and Liz was still there, and I knew Liz from Stellenbosch. Yeah. And then I moved to Barrydale in June, and then in July a journalist came to do a story for Platteland, I think.
Yeah.
So I took her to walk the labyrinth as well, and then in August a photographer came to take a picture of me in a labyrinth. So that was like the third time that I was in the labyrinth. So yeah, I walked the labyrinth and we took pictures, and then I went to sit in the middle and sort of just closed my eyes and make as if I'm meditating. And he took a picture from above, and I heard the voice, "I need a guardian." And I thought, did you speak? I asked him, did you speak to me? I said, no. And then I realized it's the labyrinth, that actually the spirit of the labyrinth that told me I need a guardian. And because I work with labyrinths, and that is really a beautiful labyrinth. So I asked if I can, because it was 2 properties, if I can just buy the labyrinth. And that's how I got the labyrinth. Yeah. And then the bottom property did sell, but the wholesale fell through. And then in lockdown, they halved the price. So I knew it was spirit again telling me, no, these 2 properties belong together. Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah,
what an
so-
interesting story.
Yeah. So I do guided labyrinth walks. I do sound healing, one-on-one or groups. I do yoga, meditation, breath work. I do nature medicine walks with people. I do cacao ceremonies. Yeah,
What is that?
cacao.
Oh, the castle.
Yeah, cacao. Yeah, yeah. So it's raw cacao, ceremonial cacao. Yeah, yeah.
So it's not the normal cocoa we have.
It's not the normal cocoa, no. So the cacao comes from I get them either from Bali or from Guatemala. Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably it.
Yeah,
Terry,
thank you very much.
This has been it's been out of date. I was dreading it in a way, I must be honest. Because she's so intimidating, she's so clever. But thank you ever so much.
Oh, it's a
really
big
been
pleasure. Yeah.